Welcome to my impressions of Crackdown 2. You're gonna have to forgive me. I'm a bit of a novice when it comes to recording video footage for games, so rather than having the game's lovely bullet sounds, you can have some incredibly inappropriate folk music to listen to. Aren't I generous? Anyway, yes, Crackdown 2. I still hold Crackdown, the first Crackdown, you know, in quite high esteem. It's still quite a unique game on the Xbox. Still one of the tip-top sandbox experiences around. Bouncing around, picking up some orbs, shooting up some mob leaders. You know, it's good fun. So I went into Crackdown 2, quite high hopes. I mean, this footage is from the very start of the game. This is the first mission, just out of the training. I've put a couple of hours into it since recording this, however. But you know, unfortunately, I mean, this opening's quite explosive, quite fun. But unfortunately, in trying to fix the issues with the game, New Boy's Ruffian seems to have just, like, compounded more issues on top and not fixed what was broken. I don't know. They've just... Okay, I'll try and explain it to the best of my abilities. Here's the thing. Okay, one thing. Collecting orbs is fun. Okay, collecting orbs was fun in Crackdown, but the guys at Ruffian went one step further and just... they basically, like, poured a pepper shaker over the world and made them all collectibles, because there's, like, 500 agility orbs, 300 hidden orbs, 30-odd renegade orbs, another 30-odd driving orbs, online orbs, super-duper hidden orbs. I don't know, but there's just basically so many collectibles, but then on top of the collectibles there are the races, the driving races, the rooftop races, clearing insertion zones. That's what I'm doing in a minute, and it's just too much. I mean, you know, you can never have too much of a good thing, sure, but you know, too many cooks spoil the broth and all that. There's just too many orbs. It means each individual orb doesn't hold. You know, the more orbs you have, the less of an achievement each individual one, you know, is. I don't know, there's just too much in the game. They just tried to cram it. You could say it's bursting at the seams, or you could say, as they have, there's just too much. So, anyway, I mean, that aside, the other issue is with the structure of the game so far. First Crackdown, you knew what you were doing. You had to take out these mob bosses. They were running Pacific City. The agents were there to clear out the gangs. It was all nice and simple. So far, Crackdown 2 set itself up nicely. There was a nice intro cutscene, talks about the cells, moving in, terrorist attacks on the agency, freaks coming out at night, you know, plenty of intrigue there, but then all it boils down to is go to these 3 locations, stand on the point, you've seen me stand on the point eventually in this video, and then go to a freak lair, defend a bomb for 5 minutes, rinse and repeat. I think I'm on my 3rd series of that minute, and you know, it's not the most thrilling stuff in the world, because let's be honest, Crackdown's actual shooting isn't all that. Again, it's like the melee combat in the first Crackdown was incredibly simple. Not necessarily a bad thing, but they tried to fix it in this game by adding combos. They didn't really fix anything by adding combos. In anything, you feel like you're punching people and sliding on ice. You're just going everywhere. You know, sure, you can elbow someone if they're behind you, but then I swear my punches... I know I haven't leveled up my punches and stuff, but I swear I was punting old women into the Pacific City Sea, you know, within the first half hour of playing the first Crackdown. And when I punch people in this more often, they just flop. There's less of the fun, although I say there's less of the fun. Fighting freaks has so far been brilliant in a very Dead Rising type way. I mean, the way they swarm in, you throw a grenade, explodes, they fly everywhere, and you get a force gun, you shoot it, and they'll get blasted backwards. You know, ragdolls flopping everywhere, and you plough a car through streets of them at night. You know, that sort of stuff is generally fun. And, you know, I'm sure if I just went and did my own thing, I probably would have as much fun in this Crackdown, if not more, than the first Crackdown. but I would just say that actually just playing the game, playing the missions, and the collection aspect. Playing the missions isn't as fun, and the collection aspect has been blown out of proportion. It's a shopping list game essentially. You know, you're ticking everything off. Like I've done my road races. Now I'm collecting my orbs. Now nothing about it grows. It's just there from the very beginning. It's just, here is everything. Go do it if you want. There's no sort of growth to the world so far. I have to stress, this is initial impressions from, well, it's from an hour and a half, 2 hours of game. But I just feel like everything's just there, and I've just been dropped in and tentatively nudged to do things. And in a way, I want a bit more structure. I need a bit more structure. I'm just not used to this freedom. But anyway, this is a bit of a ramble, but this is just me getting my thoughts off my chest. I'm sure you've been watching the footage while listening to me rambling, going, oh, you're selling this game a bit short, it doesn't look all bad. But it's not all bad, it's fun enough. I mean, it's still the Crackdown engine. Shooting ain't quite as good as the first Crackdown, at least not so far, but it all works. It all works fine. Anyway, I'm going to be quiet now and just leave you to enjoy the rest of the footage in peace.